Hello again. This video will mostly be a voiceover. I figured you guys would rather see some rifle pics instead of my face. Today we're going to discuss not which rifle to get, as I erroneously led you to believe in the last video, but how to pick a rifle. There are a lot of different options out there, reviews on almost every rifle made. I figured you could do your own due diligence, read some reviews on a particular rifle before finally making the call to purchase said rifle. The first question you should ask yourself is, what is my rifle for? There are various categories of bolt action rifle types. If you want one just to hunt with, get yourself a sporter rifle. The lighter the better. Save up for a good quality scope, even if it takes half a year. You won't regret it. There are options out there that are inexpensive, but bear in mind that with most optic companies, you're getting what you're paying for. I'm not saying that there are no decent low-end scopes, but the better the glass, the more you gotta pay. Also, another thing you gotta keep in mind is that not all cheap scopes withstand heavy recoil. If you want a rifle built more for precision, you're typically going to be looking for a heavier barreled rifle or one that has a good match grade barrel, if not a heavy barrel. You gotta plan on spending a lot of money if you're wanting to get into competitions, or if you want to get into the long range game, if you want a long range rifle. Second thing is you have to decide how much money you're going to invest in the long run. Remember, just because you're on a budget doesn't mean you gotta settle for garbage. You can save. For instance, this rifle here is a Savage 110 FCP chambered in 300 Win Mag, which I got on sale for $800. That's an awesome deal for what you get in this rifle system. It's a heavy barreled long range rifle, 26 inch. I had the 26 inches barrel fluted, parkrized, and a brake installed. The 110 FCP is equipped with an HS Precision stock, an excellent composite stock, full aluminum bedding block. I then added the Matthews cheek riser. These rifles are also equipped with Savage's adjustable AccuTrigger, which I adjusted down to £1.5 pull. They also come with a detachable box mag, added 20 MOA rail, Vortex Viper rings, topped it with a SWFA 3 to 15. All of this combined was just about $1,700. I had to shop around a bit, wait a bit, save a bit. But once I got it all together, I was shooting half-inch groups, 100 yards, through a fresh barrel using relatively inexpensive hunting rounds you can buy off the shelf. This rifle, it was shooting lights out. So if I just bought the first $300 rifle scope combo at Walmart, this would not have been accomplished. Not the satisfaction, performance, or the rifle capability. So once you figure out which setup will best suit your purpose, figure out how much you want to spend in the long run. Then begin to research the different types of brands and makes out there as you're saving. So if you have time to save, trust me, it's always better to save. So your cartridge of choice has to be dependent on the purpose of your rifle. You don't need a 50 BMG to kill a moose or caribou, but you wouldn't want to use a round that's too wimpy either. You want to choose something that you will be most comfortable shooting. If the recoil is too high for you, then you might not even be able to hit the animal to begin with. I live up in Alaska, so a Magnum cartridge is preferable, but it's not required, especially with today's bullets. I think something like the 6.5 PRC is a great modern cartridge. Awesome killing power, reduced meat destruction as opposed to, say, my 300 PRC or 338 Win Mag. Also keep in mind that if you plan on buying ammo off the shelf, cost should be a major factor in your choice. You can't shoot a rifle for which you can't afford to buy ammo. So there's a lot of good info out there on cartridges, so don't be lazy on the research. So there are a number of budget production rifles out there, meaning, from $300 to $700 around there, but that offer surprising accuracy. You just have to do your research and you can find something. But there are a couple of things that you must not cheap out on. Do not go for the cheapest glass on the shelf. The better the optic, the better you will see what you're trying to shoot at. Especially if you're going to be looking for a precision rifle, you want a scope that tracks very well, constructed very well. There are options out there that won't shred your wallet, but are top-notch. Use world-class glass like this Torque over here in the picture. There are some scopes that are relatively less expensive that still track well, are built like tanks, have massive amount of adjustment, particularly the SWFA Super Sniper line of scopes. Then there's the extremely expensive scopes that range in the several $1,000 price range. I personally find it hard to justify spending my hard-earned money on optics for which at least a third of the price is purely for brand name box store markups. I strongly recommend you look at the track line of scopes. They have everything from 1-inch tube scopes to a 34mm toric version that's coming out real soon. I'm not being sponsored by them, but I really do appreciate their work greatly. Lastly, let's talk about brand. There are a lot of different brands out there. I'm not gonna say one is worse than the other, but that every gun enthusiast has his or her preferences and prejudices. You'll have your own as well. I've owned Remingtons, Savages, a Browning, a Tikka, Winchesters, Rugers, Sauer, as just to mention a few of the bolt action rifles. I currently own a Seekins Havoc PH2, which I really like. I'll do a review on eventually. Again, you just have to do your due diligence, read up on what looks good to you. If you can, always put your hands on it before buying. Something might look good, but your hands and body structure might tell a different story. A full custom build will put you in a whole different world. That's when you start off with an action, choose a barrel, trigger, stock, or chassis, and everything else. It's super fun, and it's usually very expensive. So hopefully this video has helped. Stay safe.